Now, let's move down the page a bit and look at map number 2, G pentatonic scale. Notice that we're missing a few dots, but it's derived from this diagram right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And notice we have 1, 5, 2, 6, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 3, 1, 1. Remember that the pentatonic scale is the same as the major scale, except we throw away the number 4 note, which we would normally expect to find right there, and the number 7 note, which we find right there. So when we throw away those notes, we are left with a pattern of notes that look like this. I'm gonna call that a boat pattern, okay? Because that kind of looks like a boat. At least it does in my mind. And get to know this pattern. The 1, if we know where the 1 note is, the root of the scale, we know that the next string higher at the same fret, in this case open notes, here the open string on the G string, the next fret higher is also part of that pentatonic scale, and it's the number 5 note. And we also know that a number 2 note always follows a number 1 note in a pentatonic scale by 2 frets. So we go up the first fret to the second fret, and here is the number 2 note. And notice the pattern. A 6th note is always 1 string over from the number 2 note. If we want to find a number 3 note, and we know where the root is, a number 3 note is always 4 frets above the number 1. And it's always 2 frets above the number 2. So if we know where the root is, we know that the number 3 note is always going to be 4 frets up towards the sound hole of the mandolin. And to finish out the scale, the number 1, the high number 1 note, is going to be up 1 string and up 1 fret. It's going to be diagonally over from the 3 note. So here's our boat. Remember that pattern, because in a minute, right now as a matter of fact, if I can get this, yeah, there we go. Now we're going to go to the A pentatonic scale, and we know that an A note can be found at the 2nd fret of the G string, and there it is right there, number 1 note. And now we just draw our boat, and we have exactly the same pattern, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 1, and that gives us the A pentatonic scale. This is the concept of movability. Now, the only thing that we have to do that's different with this A pentatonic scale is that these are no longer open notes. I'm going to play those with my index finger, and I'm going to play those with my middle finger. This one is going to be my 3rd finger, and this one's going to be my pinky finger. But these numbers don't tell me what finger to use. That's just what I'm going to use because that's the easiest way to do it. Okay, now let's go to the next map. Here is the A pentatonic scale, but now we've got 2 octaves shown. here's our basic boat from the diagram above. And if we want to play another octave, all we have to do is move that boat again so that the one note of the new octave corresponds to the one note of the high one note of the previous octave. So here is what's gonna be my boat. Guess where number 1 is? On the high end, we're gonna have a 1 note right there, aren't we? Because we repeat the pattern. The pattern repeats. It repeats all over the fretboard. So this is how we can play a 2-octave A pentatonic scale. Let's do that on the mandolin. We're going to the 2nd fret of the G string. And I'm fretting that with my index finger, middle finger, ring finger. Then we're moving up to the D string, and we're playing the 5 note with my index finger, 6th note with my middle finger, and my pinky goes up to the 7th fret. So right now, I'm right there. And I'm ready to start the new octave. Now, it's awfully hard for me to get my fingers all the way up there to the 2 and the 3 for the new octave. And so I'm going to shift. I'm going to lift my fingers, all except my index. Now my index finger, remember, is down there on number 5. And I'm going to bring it all the way up. Okay, I just did a slide up to the 7th fret on the D string. And now I use exactly the same fingers as I used before, with my index finger on the 7th fret of the D string, my middle finger on the 9th fret, my ring finger on the 11th fret, and now I'm going to move my index finger over to the A string at the 7th fret. That brings it up to here. The number 6 note is the 9th fret on the A string, and I go up to a 1, which is up here on the 12th fret. I'm playing that with my pinky. Now, I can just sort of move my index finger up to, and I can just move the boat all the way up to another octave if I want to. So actually I've played 3 octaves of the A pentatonic scale.